So, Blue Velvet is a neo-noir mystery thriller that came out back in 1986, written and directed by David Lynch. In the film, we follow a character portrayed by Kyle MacLachlan, who returns home after he finds out that his father has suffered a heart attack, and while it's on the way back home from a hospital visit and walking in a field, he finds a human ear. And while he decides to investigate why he found this human ear, this investigation takes him on, to say the least, a nightmare-fueled ride. Before I continue on with today's video, I just wanted to say welcome to my channel, everybody. For those of you who are coming to my channel for the very first time, be sure to hit the subscribe button to don't miss a feature video. It's a feature review, reaction, a top 5, top 10, or whatever I have coming your way, and join me on my journey to 10K subscribers and beyond, because believe me when I say this, guys, you are not going to miss the cool stuff I have coming your way. And for those of you coming back to my channel, by the way, welcome back, everybody. You have no idea how happy to see your faces once again. And let's start our conversation below. What do you guys think of Blue Velvet, or what's your favorite David Lynch movie? Let me know below. Alright, guys, so let's get into Blue Velvet.
Excellent!
This movie, guys, Blue fucking Velvet. Before I continue on and say anything else, I just wanted to say R.I.P. to David Lynch, who, if you ask me, is one of the best filmmakers who ever lived. David Lynch is a filmmaker that really, I thought, had one of the most unique and just one of the coolest voices in Hollywood. The way that David Lynch told stories was in a way that no one else could do it. I mean, just the way how he put images together and combined them with incredible use of sound design, and the way how he was able to blend elements together, giving you something that, while it looks beautiful, there's just something disgusting underneath all that, is just waiting just to spook you. You're just going like this, essentially. Whoa, okay, that looks... What the fuck? They say that David Lynch has had such a footstep and an impact on Hollywood storytelling and filmmaking. I cannot describe the impact that this man has had, so all I'm going to say is that to David Lynch's closest family, his friends, my deepest condolences, and to say that we lost... I still cannot believe it's been almost a week, but still, to say that we lost one of the coolest and one of the, if you ask me, one of the most unique people that ever made movies in Hollywood, I can't describe the feeling. And also, before I continue on, I just want to say something really quick. If you're coming to this review expecting for me to do a deep dive into the messages, the metaphors, the themes, and the psychoanalysis as to why I believe that Blue Velvet is an incredible movie and a masterpiece of a movie, you're coming to the wrong guy. Although, don't get me wrong, I absolutely do believe that Blue Velvet is a masterpiece. There is no denying that. But if you're expecting me to do a deep dive into everything this movie has to offer, you have come to the wrong channel. So if you're looking for that, just click away. If you're looking for a review in which you want a guy to praise the ever-living hell of what I believe is David Lynch's masterpiece, you've come to the right place, or at least I hope you have, because all I'm going to do in this review is just praise the living hell and talk about why I adore David Lynch's Blue Velvet. And it most definitely does hold up over, what, 30 years later? I mean, the film came out in 1986. It's the 2020s now. It's 2025. If I'm not mistaken, you know what? Let me do a little math really quick here, just to make sure I'm getting my math right in my head. Oh my god. This movie turns 40 next year. I really want to talk about the very first time and my first experience and how I felt watching Blue Velvet for the first time. The first time that I saw Blue Velvet was back in 2013, 12 years ago. Well, actually, yeah, about 12 years ago was the very first time I saw Blue Velvet, and I was in film school and my film history classes, which is where I met, by the way. Sarah, if you watch, is one of my best friends, the sister I never had, where I met her. This is one of those movies where, you know when you watch a certain movie, that as you're watching it, you have this experience that just, I can't really put together the right sentence, the right word right now, but it's definitely an experience that you're watching something you're almost feeling privileged that you're watching. That's the best way I can describe my first time watching Blue Velvet. Blue Velvet to me was like watching a movie that was just, it was a special type of film experience watching it in a classroom, even though I would have loved to see it in a theater, obviously. This is a movie that almost has this uncomfortable vibe to it, but at the same time, while it may be uncomfortable, it's one of those movies that presents you with this surreal vision that you just cannot look away from, and it is such a transfixed experience, to say the least, as I was watching it for the first time. And honest to God, you guys, this is one of those movies that most definitely has stayed with me ever since I saw it. Comic Clockwood did such a great job of having this point of view as the normal everyday guy that has this voyeuristic sense of view to him as to why he wants to just continue on this journey. Like, here's the thing, guys. There is a great line by Laura Dern saying, I don't know if you're a detective or if you're a pervert. That one line here, I think, has the perfect description of what this movie is. Blue Velvet is a film noir film that has elements of this psychosexual thriller with voyeuristic elements. That's what this movie is all together. At least that's what I got when I was watching this movie, at least my most recent view. Isabella Rossellini, she is absolutely incredible in the film, and as far as I'm aware, this is the film that actually got her more attention, because as far as I'm aware, I think before this movie, she was mainly known as a model, especially for cosmetics. Please correct me if I'm wrong below, but she is absolutely amazing in the film. There is one particular person that absolutely, without a doubt, steals every single scene, and that is just an absolute menace and a psychopath, and that is Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper is a wild card in this movie, is a psychopathic wild card, and he is a person, he is a character that every time you see him on that screen, he comes off as cool, calm, and collected, but on the flip of a dime, on the flip of a switch, he goes in a full-blown psychopath mode, going from 1 all the way up to 11 with just a snap. One of my favorite lines, or actually, as a matter of fact, my favorite line in a movie is in this movie. I'm not going to try and do my own interpretation of that or just reenact it, so I'm just going to roll the clip because this line still makes me laugh every time I watch this movie. Roll the clip.
What kind of beer do you like? Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
And there was another line that, as of recent, my most recent rewatch that I heard, oh my god, it actually got me to laugh really, really hard, and I'll roll the clip. It's this line.
You want me to pour it?
No, I want you to fuck it! Shit, yes, pour the fucking beer!
Dennis Hopper is incredible in this movie, and what I'm saying, I guarantee it's just an echo and a repeat of what everybody else has been saying, because I mean, come on, guys. Blue Velvet has been out for almost 40 years, and I can guarantee that whatever I'm saying has already been said by many people out there, and the only reason why I'm talking about it is because I want to talk about it, and I would like to give my respects to one of the greatest filmmakers who ever lived. And that brings me on to the next aspect that I love about this movie, and that is David Lynch's directing and writing, who is really, besides Dennis Hopper, the other star of this movie. There comes a certain directors out there that people will say, yeah, he is the star of this movie, or she is the star of the movie, guys get what I'm saying. David Lynch, besides Dennis Hopper, is the star of Blue Velvet. The way that David Lynch directs this movie, I mean, from the opening sequence of this movie, which, by the way, the opening track, the opening shot of this movie, which I'm going to skip a little bit ahead, I'm going to backpedal after this, so just bear with me, guys. The opening track of this movie by Julie Cruz and Angelo, I can't remember this person's last name, I'm so sorry, I feel like I'm being disrespectful right now, but please put their name right here, because this track, Mysteries of Love, is without a doubt one of the most beautiful, yet haunting opening tracks of a movie that I have ever heard. But going back to David Lynch's directing, because here's the thing, guys. David Lynch has a style to him in which he presents something with something either beautiful or seemingly just ordinary. But what he does so great is that he goes underneath the beauty, and now I just show you the ugly underbelly, but he goes even further to the rotting flesh of that ugly underbelly. And what he presents you with something that is a combination and a great juxtaposition of beauty and nightmare. He started that off brilliant with Eraserhead, and he most definitely does so here in Blue Velvet. Something else I gotta talk about is how the film's plot progresses in Blue Velvet. This is one of those movies that once again, and this is an add-on to David Lynch's directing, this movie goes in a certain direction, and it keeps going in that direction because once again, the movie that is being presented to you is such, by the way, I should just mention this really quick, this movie looks absolutely amazing. This movie got to a certain point in which you think it's gonna go in a direction, and then it presents you as something else completely different. Well, sure, it goes on with the film's plot, but it presents you with a shock of an image. This shock, I had my jaw dropped. Like, I was just thinking, well, holy shit. This movie is not only shot brilliantly, it looks great, and the film's musical score is just beautiful. It's haunting. It's very, very dark, but once again, it's a very beautiful musical score that if it's available on vinyl, I will need to get that thing as soon as I possibly can. Blue Velvet is a 2-hour mystery thriller film, and this movie moves fast. Like, no joke here, guys. When I was rewatching this movie the other night, I started watching this movie at like 1 a.m. And even though I tend to try and go to bed earlier these days, this is one of those movies where even though I was tired at a certain point, I was so fixed, I was so locked in, I was telling myself, I'm not going to bed until it's done. I did not go to bed until almost 4 a.m. the other night because I was so fixed, I was so locked in to watch this movie. Blue Velvet gets to a certain bit into which you hear Kyle MacLachlan's character usher a line. He says a line, and he goes out, and you think that this is the final scene in the movie, but it keeps going on. If it ended right here, I would have thought, okay, he got the job done, he got what he done needed to do, this movie could probably end right now. But the way this movie keeps going and how it actually ends was even more emotionally satisfying, and I'm really glad that it did end at the specific scene and I kept going on because, man, knowing this movie actually ends, it is such a great ending, and once again, using Mysteries of Love. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff. Need I say any more than that?
Well, that's just fucking great!
I guess the only thing I can say in terms of issues, even though I have no issues with this movie may not be for everybody, maybe, but even then, that's just a stretch. Like, that is me reaching for something.
And here we go.
So overall, Blue Velvet for me is David Lynch's masterpiece. Now sure, some people out there may say it'll probably be for them Eraserhead, maybe Elephant Man, maybe Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, maybe Mulholland Drive, any one of those films. Probably so. I absolutely love Blue Velvet. It's one of my favorite films of all time. So as y'all can imagine, all in all, I'm gonna give Blue Velvet a 6 out of 5. I cannot put into words of my love, my adoration for Blue Velvet, other than I'm just gonna say that Blue Velvet is in my top 20 favorite films of all time. I hope you all enjoyed my review of Blue Velvet. If so, please hit the like button, or if you disliked the review, hit the dislike button. If you guys want to see my previous 2 reviews, please click it right there or right there. And of course, until my next review or video goes live, I will see you all next time.